Garden, and welcome to another writing lesson. On Tuesday, you started your planning, your brainstorming. You brainstormed your special home that you had visited, and you also planned out how you used your five senses. So today, we're going to move into a new phase and start to put all of our brainstorming down on paper. So let's find out what our writing thinking job is for today. Today, you're going to leave writing being able to draft a story by sketching. Go ahead and put your thumbs up and repeat after me. I can draft a story by sketching. So today, we're going to move into the phase of drafting and we're going to sketch. So I want you to think, have you ever drawn a picture of a person, a place, or a thing from your imagination? And what did you draw? Your teacher might pause the video and look out to see who has great ideas of what they drew. Wow, I'm sure you guys have drawn so many things from your imagination, and when we draw a picture, we help other people see our ideas from our imagination. Our imagination is what we think. Sometimes we draw just for fun. We can also draw or sketch to tell stories. Remember that illustrators draw the pictures in a story, and sometimes writers are the illustrators too. They sketch pictures as they draw. Sketching helps writers show important ideas, such as people, places, and objects in a story. Today, we're going to practice sketching for our writing task of using our five senses to a special home we visited. I will model the steps first, and you will get to draw with me and then put all of your work together in your exit ticket. As I model, notice how I think about each step and be ready because you're going to do the work with me. Here we go. Now that we found out our reading job, let's just quickly go over what writing tools we'll use. You're going to be doing writing with me today during the lesson. So you're going to be using your lined paper and a pencil and maybe your crayons if your teacher asks you to get them. Your teacher might pause the video now or later when it's time to use these tools. You'll also be submitting your work onto Seesaw, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. We are writing narratives, we're telling our story, we're going to be telling a story of how we're using our five senses at a special home we visited. Repeat after me. Good writers think, tell, write, and draw. So we did the thinking the other day, and today we're going to be doing some drawing. We're in the writing phase of draft. We're going to be drafting today, and these are our thinking steps to get to our writing job of drafting a story by sketching. So the first step, we're going to decide what ideas we need to show. Then we're going to make a picture in our mind, and then we're going to get to draw our ideas. Are you excited to do some drawing today? I am. Let's get started. We're going to first look at step 1. Decide what ideas to show. Today, I will sketch my visit to a special home. I need to include details that show how I used my senses and how I will be sure to include at least some detail in my brainstorming. So today is just our sketch. It's not our final writing piece. It's just our sketch to get our ideas that we brainstormed down on paper that will help us do our final draft. Step 2. I need to make a picture in my mind. Let me think about my visit to my grandma's house, and you can start thinking about what special home you chose and thinking about your visit. Right now, I'm thinking about my visit to my grandma's house. In my mind, I see myself sitting at the table with a hot bowl of soup in front of me, and I'm holding a spoon. When I brainstormed on Tuesday, I talked about how I saw my grandma at the stove with the soup. I heard her talking. I was able to smell the soup and taste the soup, and I used a spoon. So now I'm going to make a picture in my mind, and I'm going to see myself sitting in a chair next to a table with the bowl of soup in front of me and my grandma standing at the stove. So I want you to do the same. I want you to think about the special home that you chose on Tuesday. Do the best you can on remembering that, and remember the brainstorming ideas you chose. Your teacher might pause the video and look out to see who wants to share their picture in their mind. Now that I've made my picture in my mind, I'm ready to go to step 3 and do my drawing. I'm ready to do my drawing. So I'm going to start with drawing myself in a chair next to a table. Your teacher's going to pause the video and you are going to sketch yourself where you remember yourself being in the special home. You see that I've sketched myself in a chair because I was sitting at the table. Now I'm going to draw my table, and I have my bowl of soup and my spoon. So now I want your teacher to pause the video, and you're going to draw what you were doing. So you have a picture of yourself. What were you doing? Remember, I saw my soup, I smelled my soup, and I was touching my spoon. What were you doing? Okay. Now that I sketched a picture of myself and what I was doing, now I need to draw my grandmother because that's the person's house that I visited. I know that my grandmother was standing next to the stove, so I made sure I drew my grandmother and her next to the stove. Now your teacher's going to pause the video and you're going to draw a picture of who was at the house with you. Whose house is it? Did you choose your grandparents? Did you choose a friend? Did you choose an aunt or an uncle? You're choosing the other person and sketching that other person. Now, I remember I brainstormed my grandmother making a pot of soup on the stove. So I drew my pot of soup on the stove. I now have been able to draw my ideas. Wow, this picture is a great sketch, and it's something my readers will see, and I will take time to add details to make the picture more interesting. So as you notice, I also added a little bit of color. I made my table brown, the bowl green, the spoon gray, and the pot gray. My grandmother was wearing a pink dress, so I was able to draw a pink dress. She also has black hair, so I was able to draw black hair. These are details that you can add into your picture as well. The chart also tells me to add labels, but I'm going to do this next time. We'll learn about labels in our next lesson. For today, we're just going to draw our picture. Right now, you sketched your picture on your lined piece of paper. So you're all ready to move to loading it onto your exit ticket. You've done all of the work during this lesson, so now all you have to do is add all of this work into your exit ticket. Your teacher will give you a few options to load it in. You can either go in and draw your picture into Seesaw by using the pen, or maybe take a picture of the work that you have on your lined piece of paper. Either way, make sure that you submit it on Seesaw and click the green check. I'm so excited to see all of your drafting, sketching, and the homes that you visited, because you're going to sketch your story using the details from your brainstorming. All right, Kisters, until next time.